All right, today we're tackling a huge shift in how the smartest companies think about their future. We're going to ditch the dusty old-school strategic plan and build something new. A living, breathing, agile strategy.
So let me ask you something, and be honest. Does this sound familiar? You and your team spend, months putting together the perfect annual plan, only for it to be totally useless by like February. If you're nodding right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's painful. And that really gets to the heart of the problem. Over here, you've got the old way, the static plan. It's reactive, it's rigid, it happens once a year, and that's it. But over here, this is the goal, a live-in strategy. It's proactive, it's always on, and it's built to adapt. We're talking about a shift from a strategy that gathers dust to one that actually gathers momentum. So, before we get to the solution, we have to understand the problem. Let's talk about what I call the strategy trap.
Think of it like this. Using a traditional annual plan is like trying to drive across the country with a paper map that was printed a year ago. It's just not going to work, right? The world's changed. There are new roads. There's a huge traffic jam up ahead that isn't on the map. It's just not a reliable guide for the world we live in today.
Okay, so if the paper map is the problem, what's the alternative? Well, it's time to upgrade to a GPS for your business. Let's look at the Agile alternative.
Now, Agile strategy isn't just about moving fast for the sake of it. It's a really resilient system that's built on 3 core pillars that all have to work together. You've got agility, that's your ability to pivot and adapt. Then you've got clarity, making sure everyone on the team is heading in the same direction. And finally, disciplined decision-making, which is all about making smart, deliberate choices. You really can't have one without the others.
So that all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? Okay, let's pop the hood and take a look inside the Agile toolkit.
First things first. You need a compass, and that's where frameworks like OKRs, objectives and key results, are so powerful. These aren't like a rigid set of rules. Think of them as a structured way to turn a big, fuzzy vision into outcomes you can actually measure. They get everybody aligned without taking away their flexibility to figure out the best way to get there.
Next, you got to replace that slow, year-long planning slog with something better. Strategy sprints. These are short, super focused cycles designed to speed everything up. So instead of waiting a whole year to see if an idea was any good, you can test it, learn from it, and adapt your approach in these quick, iterative loops. It's all about moving and learning fast.
And this next tool, this is all about connecting the dots. It's called a value tree, and it's basically a visual map that shows exactly how a specific project, like something your team is working on right now, connects all the way up to the company's biggest goals. It just makes it crystal clear why the work matters, and that helps leaders prioritize the stuff that's actually going to move the needle.
And when you start using tools like value trees, something amazing happens. Your whole mindset shifts from being reactive to being proactive. You stop obsessing over what are called lagging indicators, last quarter sales numbers, which only tell you what's already happened. Instead, you focus on leading indicators, which help you predict what's likely to happen. It's the difference between driving while staring in the rearview mirror versus actually looking at the road ahead.
And finally, one of my absolute favorites, decision hygiene. This is all about building routines into your process that help you stress test your ideas and catch your own blind spots. And one of the best tools for this is a brilliant little technique called a premortem.
It sounds weird, but it's so simple and so powerful. Here's how it works. First, you get your team in a room and you imagine the project has already failed, like a total disaster. Step 2, everybody brainstorms all the possible reasons why it failed. And finally, step 3, you look at that list of potential disasters and you figure out how to address the biggest risks before you even start. It's like a postmortem, but you do it before anything has a chance to go wrong.
So when you put all these pieces together, the frameworks, the sprints, the hygiene, what do you get?
Well, you fundamentally change strategy from a one-time event into a continuous, ongoing process.
And what's the payoff for all this? You get a strategy that is dynamic, so it can actually keep up with the market. It's data-informed, not just based on someone's opinion. It becomes resilient, so it won't shatter at the first sign of trouble. And most importantly, it's continuous. It's always learning, always evolving.
And really, that brings us to the single most important idea in this whole explainer. It's this: strategy is not a document. It's not a binder that sits on a shelf. It is a living, breathing process that is woven into the daily fabric of your organization. So I want to leave you with one final question to think about. When you look at your own work, your own team, what's one small thing you could do, maybe even tomorrow,
to start making your strategy truly come alive.